In the great kingdom of Benin, nestled between vast rivers and towering mountains, there lived a young prince named Adewale. Born into royalty, he was strong, handsome, and skilled in battle, but his greatest flaw was his arrogance. He believed that wisdom was for the weak, and only strength could rule a kingdom. As the heir to the throne, he carried himself with a sense of superiority, dismissing the council of elders and advisors who sought to guide him toward becoming a just and wise leader. One day, the king, weary of his son's pride, invited a revered old blind seer named Baba Ezen to the palace. Baba Ezen was known far and wide for his great wisdom, and many kings and rulers sought his guidance. Upon his arrival, the palace was abuzz with curiosity. Servants whispered among themselves, wondering what words of insight the old man would share with their arrogant prince. The king greeted Baba Ezen with respect and ushered him into the royal hall where Prince Adewale awaited, arms crossed, his face lined with skepticism. "My prince," Baba Ezen began, "a great ruler is not just strong in arms, but wise in mind. Let me share a lesson with you." Adewale scoffed, barely concealing his disdain. "What can a blind old man teach me? You cannot even see the word, yet you claim to understand it better than I do." The seer smiled and replied, "I may not see with my eyes, but I see with wisdom. Let us take a journey together. If by the end, you still believe strength is greater than wisdom, I shall bow before you." Curious and somewhat amused, the prince agreed. The next morning, Baba Ezen and Adewale set out on their journey. The old seer walked with nothing but his staff, yet his steps were confident and sure. Adewale, accustomed to being led by warriors and guards, found it strange to follow a blind man, but he did so nonetheless. They traveled for hours, crossing rivers and moving deeper into the thick forest that surrounded the kingdom. Adewale grew impatient. "Old man, where are we going? This is a waste of time." "Patience, my prince," Baba Ezen said. "Let us rest by this tree." Just then, a lion's roar echoed through the trees. Startled, Adewale reached for his sword, his muscles tensing in preparation for battle, but Baba Ezen remained calm. "Do not move," the seer whispered. "The wind carries our scent. If we panic, the beast will find us." Adewale, despite his pride, obeyed. Minutes passed, and the lion moved away. "How did you know?" the prince asked, his voice filled with genuine curiosity for the first time. "Wisdom, my prince," Baba Ezen said. "Your sword could not save us, but knowledge did. Strength is useless without wisdom to guide it." They continued their journey, and as night fell, they arrived at a small village. The people there were suffering from a drought. The wells had dried up, and food was scarce. The villagers begged the prince for help. "I am a warrior, not a farmer," Adewale said dismissively. "I cannot make it rain." Baba Ezen turned to the prince. "A true leader seeks solutions, not excuses." Adewale frowned but followed the seer's lead. Baba Ezen asked the villagers about their land, their history, and their old water sources. Through their stories, he discovered that an underground spring once flowed beneath the village but had been blocked by a landslide years ago. "Dig here," Baba Ezen instructed, pointing to a specific spot. The villagers, doubtful but desperate, began digging. Hours later, water burst forth from the ground, bringing life back to the village. Adewale watched in amazement as the people cheered and thanked the seer. "How did you know?" he asked again. "Wisdom, my prince," Baba Ezen said. "Knowledge of the past shapes the future. A ruler must listen, learn, and understand his people to lead them well." Humbled, Adewale bowed before the seer. "I see now that wisdom is the true strength of a king." From that day on, Adewale ruled with both might and wisdom, earning the love of his people and the respect of his enemies. He sought the counsel of elders, listened to the needs of his people, and became one of the greatest kings Zimbola had ever known. True leadership is not about strength alone, but the wisdom to use it wisely. Respect those who have knowledge, for they see beyond what the eyes can behold.